How are you guys doing? And thank you for tuning in and watching this video or clicking on this link or whatever it is that you did to get here. And if you don't know me, I'm Landon. I'm the student ministry pastor at the Rolling Meadows campus of student ministry. And thank you for serving wherever it is you're serving. If you're serving in Aurora or Niles or Elgin or with us here, thank you for serving. And I want to talk to you today about a serious problem, which is pornography. And I printed out a bunch of like statistics about it, but I don't really think that I need to read them. You know, I could sit here for like 2 minutes and be like, oh my gosh, like 2 billion computers every day are like looking at this, but I think that we already know that this is a problem, and I think that we know that it's a problem not just for guys. So there's just 3 things that I want to say about how to deal with a student who has confessed pornography to you. Another time we can talk about different ways to get students to confess things like that, but this time we're talking about once it's come out in the open, how do you help? How do you help a kid like that? And there's just 3 things I want to say. The first one is you need to be specific about the ways and places that the student is getting access to this sin. So if it was the 70s or whatever, you would say, you know, like, what magazines do you have or things like that, and then they would give you the magazines and you would burn them or throw them away, and then it would be finished. And it's obviously a little bit more complicated than that now. And you need to figure out what are the access points. What if you really want to help this student gain victory over this sin, what are the access points? If you had you know, God forbid, if you had some weirdo looking into your house, like using binoculars, you would want to find out what window they were looking in and draw the blinds. What windows are open to them from their home or from wherever they are, and close those blinds. And that's what you need to do with the student. So if it's an iPod or an Xbox or a laptop or an iPad or something, you need to find out what it is and then get them set up. If it's a computer device, you can get Covenant Eyes on there, and they'll need to pay for that, but it's worth it. If it's a video game device, you'll need to talk to the parents probably and get them to lock that up. And if it's a device like a little iPod or something like that, I would always advise a kid just to get rid of it. Like, dude, do you need a stupid iPod to play Flappy Bird on? Like, it's not a joke, you know? And so I think that they'll really get that and resonate with that. And that leads me to the second point, which is you need to contact the parents if it's a repeated problem. We don't want you to be the parent. You have to partner with the parents. And if it's a repeated problem where they're coming back and talking about it a lot, the parents need to be alerted of that. And then the third thing is this: we need to be full of grace and truth. And there are certain sins that it's really easy to be full of grace, and there are certain sins that it's really easy to be full of truth. And this is one, especially if that's not something you've struggled with recently as a leader. It's really easy to be full of truth. Well, just stop. Stop doing it. How could you come back and say that you've done this again? How could you come back and say you've struggled with this for the 7th straight week? I had a guy in my small group who came in and said, I've watched pornography 10 times this week, and I really regretted how hard I was on him. And he left. It was a men's small group, and he left the small group and never came back, and he texted us and asked for the password for his phone. And that was a really sad moment. We need to be like Christ. In the Gospel of John, it says Jesus was full of grace and truth. And so when you encounter students, male or female, that are struggling with this, leaders, let's make sure that we're full of grace and truth and that we love them. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you for serving.